Hello everyone, my name is Mark Edward Blanton with The Real South Africa.
And I am Dr. Latasha Blanton, also with The Real South Africa.
We have an amazing group trip that you will be interested in. It's with the African Diaspora News Channel, a great YouTube channel, gives you great information about what's going on in Africa. But we have a group trip featuring Phillip Scott, the host.
And the trip is going to take place on March 16th through the 25th. It's going to go to Johannesburg and Cape Town, and It's in 2022. If you're interested in traveling, please send an email to info@therealsouthafrica.com.
And we'll see you here in sunny South Africa.
So you have a story out of Iowa, and I'm going to tell you what, I've told y'all, I don't know how many times, about being in these places and doing certain things. But you had a 32-year-old Iowa man will spend the rest of his life in prison for killing 44-year-old Michael Williams, a judge had announced on Monday. Now, in November, Steven Vogel, let's say a Mzungu, was convicted of first-degree murder and abuse of a corpse after beating and hanging, yes, hanging, Williams, a black man, let's say in 2020, then throwing his body in a ditch and setting it on fire days later. Yeah, that's exactly what happened to him. Now, I'm going to go ahead and roll this short clip, and we'll be back to talk about the rest of this story.
Video, we are the only TV station to have this, of Vogel in handcuffs surrounded by deputies outside the Keokuk County Courthouse, convicted of first-degree murder and abuse of a corpse. There may have been some apprehension from the Williams family as to whether or not they would get justice from a small town and an all-white jury, telling us their confidence grew as the trial progressed and the prosecution laid out what family members say was a strong case against Vogel. They are satisfied with guilty verdicts, but were hoping for a hate crime charge.
We fought very hard for justice. We really did. And we didn't get, the hate crime law here is very weak. And so we will continue to fight for that even after this verdict, because it was a lot of hatred involved. You know, the medical examiner talked about how he was hung.
So during the trial, let's say witnesses testified that Vogel told at least 3 people that he killed Williams out of jealousy, referencing a love triangle involving his girlfriend. Now, Vogel and Williams were known acquaintances who socialized in the same circles. Really? Okay. It said Williams' body was discovered in rural Kellogg, Iowa. Now, that place is 96% white, and the amount of black people don't even hardly register on the population charts. Now, let me tell y'all something. I told you. If you don't remember nothing else that I preached to you, okay, please listen to me on this. You don't stay places where you don't hardly have no population, especially a place like Kellogg, Iowa. That's a dangerous place for black people to be in. What the hell are you doing there, right? 96% Mzungu, really? Oh, hell no. So on September 16, 2020, while authorities were investigating the fire coming from the ditch on the side of the road, according to police complaints, once the fire was extinguished, authorities saw charred human remains wrapped in plastic and cloth and bound with rope and duct tape. They say the remains were later identified by a medical examiner as belonging to Williams, whose death was ruled a homicide by strangulation. Just say lynching. That's what it was. 3 others were charged with assisting Vogel after he murdered Williams. Vogel's mother, Julia Cox, his mother's boyfriend, Roy Garner, and Vogel's friend, Cody Johnson. So they just had them a good old lynching time. And say through witness interviews, investigators learned that on or around September 12, 2020, Vogel clubbed Williams, who he called Black Mike, according to Johnson, then strangled him to death. It said during Vogel's trial, Johnson and the medical examiner testified that Williams was strangled by being hanged with a rope for 5 to 6 minutes until he died. So they strung him up. Now, they said Williams' body was reportedly stored in Vogel's basement in Grinnell, Iowa, until September 16th, when it was discarded in the Kellogg ditch and set on fire. Now, during Vogel's sentencing, in which he was ordered to life in prison without the possibility of parole, as Judge Sean Shower said that the killer doesn't deserve to be on the streets or ever meet a parole board. Well, in my opinion, he needed the capital punishment. That's what I believe he needed. He said, these sentences are made for people like you who commit these horrific offenses and take others' lives without any regard for consequences. According to the judge, he said, you are a dangerous, cold-blooded killer. He said, you have the rest of your life to think about what you did. He said, the loss and the pain that you caused and the precious life that you had ended. He added, you treated Michael Williams like he was not human. You clubbed him, strangled him to death, kept him in your basement like an animal that you would kill. So you wrapped up his body, set it on fire, and you dehumanized Michael Williams, and Mr. Williams did not deserve that. Now, though investigators and the regional chapter of the NAACP have both stated Vogel's actions don't appear to be racially motivated. What? See, that's why I don't like the NAACP. You got a rope and you strung him up. Okay, let's call it what that's what you did to this man. And it was listen. The NAACP is that's why black folks don't respect it. That's why we don't join it, because I look at that as a raccoon organization. Maybe a few of you in that organization may be good. Maybe a few of you may be for the right thing, but the overall leadership is a raccoon organization at this point. It's been a raccoon organization, and that's why no one takes you seriously. No one. We all know you're owned and controlled by white liberals. Now, they say that Williams' family believes it is a hate crime, and it was. It said the same like the 1955 lynching of Emmett Till. Of course, we know he was a black teen who was hanged after Carolyn Bryant falsely accused him of lewd behavior. Now, the love interest in this love triangle had been with several other people prior to alleging to be with my nephew. He said those people were not murdered. He said, why kill Black Mike, as he referred to by a defendant? Why did he have to kill Black Mike? He said it was a lynching. Now, I'm gonna be a betting man and say, due to the demographics, 9 times out of 10, she was a Mzungu female as well. Okay? You're fooling with a Mzungu female in a almost 97% all-white town. And I told you, and I preached to you many times before, the more of them they are, the more bold they will get with their racism when it's a small number of black people. That is the most dangerous position to put yourself in. I always told you, and I've always believed in this, no female or guy, if you're a woman, is worth drama. None. And especially that kind of drama. But you sit up there and you played with fire. And you think you weren't going to get burned. Because see, some black folks don't realize fat meat is greasy. But some of you want to ice skate uphill all the time. I hate this happened to this brother. I seriously do. But he played a very dangerous game, but his life did not be taken away from him, because only a racist beta male will sit up here and do something like that. This was a lynching, and it should be called a hate crime. I say, though the prosecution is saying Vogel's trial not focused on race, of course not, because they're on code. Williams' family is content, they say, with his sentencing, and they're thankful to the all-white jury, which that, is just crazy in itself, for unanimously returning a guilty verdict in less than 4 hours. They said this time, the justice system worked here, and the father of the brother said, I'm satisfied. Yes, for him going to jail, for the rest of his life is good, but I still would have said he deserved capital punishment. But what's going to happen to the rest of them? His people that joined him in the lynching. Understand something. These people are still lynching black people. This is why when you hear me make these videos, why I talk the way I talk about them, because I know who they are. I know how dangerous the racism is, the white supremacy, the culture of white supremacy that they have passed down. I know how dangerous it is. And when you hear me talking about Africa, it's because I know when a person ain't been, because I can see sometimes y'all get angry when I have those conversations, because when you go and just even for one time, you see how you're removed from this crap. You ain't got to worry about nobody messing with you, because you ain't going to be no 96% Mzungu anywhere. It's going to be 100% are definitely 98% people that look like me and you. And you'll have to deal with that. This is why on March 16th through the 25th, we have a group trip going to South Africa. Many of you have asked me, hey, Phil, when y'all do another group trip? This is happening in 2022. Make sure that you go to that pinned comment below and make sure you sign up so you can get a break from the racism, white supremacy, right? I believe all black people should go to the African continent at least one time. If you like it, great. If you say, it's not for me, that's also great too. But at least you went. At least you didn't say that you lived a whole life and never seen it, not even one time. I think it's a sad existence to say we can't even go see the African continent, not even once. Just once in our life. The thing is about black people need to start traveling. You need to travel because when you travel, it just opens up a new world to you. So make sure you click that link below and send an email to Mark and Dr. Latasha and let them know that you're interested in this trip. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this particular story. It's horrible, but I just shake my head. If you're living in those towns and it's hardly know you and me, right? Don't look like us. Leave Becky alone. It's not safe for you to do so. I'm just letting you know. And I know some of you hard-headed. You'll do it anyway, but I would not want this to end up happening to any of you because you're not really paying attention to the odds that's around you.
Colonization never ended in the white supremacist system. And as we see today, the colonization is in the mind. Now, those who have been enslaved and those who have been colonized, we're still dealing with the remnants of that through the colonization of the mind. Pick up my book, 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind, and we will help deprogram you from the colonization that was put upon you by generations and generations of white supremacy. You can pick it up today on Amazon.com.